So today I'm going to be watching more from the great Australian satire artist Clarke and Dawe, and this one is actually related to Brexit. I believe in the description it says the unique circumstances that led to Brexit, and this title of the video is called "Thank God It Couldn't Happen Here." So yeah, obviously being British, Brexit's quite a sensitive subject, not something I was too happy with honestly, but interested to see Clarke and Dawe, their take on it, because I've just loved their satire and comedy since I started watching their videos about it.
Thanks for your time tonight.
Good evening, it's very good to be with you.
Now I'd like to talk to you about Brexit. This is a big thing for Britain, isn't it?
This is a decisive moment, a defining moment for Britain, not just economically, but I think in terms of where it's going socially as a nation.
Can you explain how the current situation actually developed?
Yes, well, in a nutshell, we had a Prime Minister who exhibited really essentially a failure of leadership. He had his own set of policies, his own set of aims. Not everybody, even in his own party, agreed with those aims.
Hang on, this is in Britain?
This is in Britain, yes. There was a right-wing group within his own party who was devoutly opposed to what he was trying to do. Then there were opportunists who were going to seize the day if they could. Yeah. This was being leaked to the press, and of course he was essentially being sabotaged.
You are talking about events in Britain.
Yes, I'm describing to you the conditions
Did this
in
also
Britain
happen
prior
in
to the vote. The Prime Minister was also a particular kind of Prime Minister. He came from a relatively privileged, wealthy background. His name was mentioned, albeit peripherally, in the Panama Papers.
Hang on, with all due respect, I'm not asking about Australian politics. No. I want to know what's just happened in Britain.
That's what I'm attempting to describe to you. This was a colossal miscalculation to go to a vote. He thought he was going to go in there, he was going to clean everybody up, he was going to defeat the opposition, silence the people in his own party who wanted to knock him over, and he's taken an absolute toweling.
No, I'm going to stop you there, I'm sorry. I got you on the program here to talk about what's happening in Britain.
That's what I'm describing to you.
You're supposed to be an expert on what's just happened in Britain.
I lecture in this at the university.
Well, could you please confine yourself to talking about Britain? I don't want to know about what's happened in Australia. Look, I know what's just happened here.
What I'm saying is that this was a huge miscalculation by the Prime Minister. He shouldn't have gone to the vote. He's in a worse position now than he was before the vote. And then you've got the Scott problem.
The Scott problem?
The Scott problem, which is enormous.
The Scott problem in Britain.
The Scott problem has been festering for at least 3 years.
Oh, this is hopeless. This is hopeless, really. Tell me, how's the weather over there?
The weather? It's a bit cold and a bit wet. It was raining earlier.
I don't want to know what's happening here. I want to know about Britain and the weather.
I'm telling you what's happening outside.
All right, well, what is the future of the British economy then?
Well, I think it's very problematic. The national debt is colossal and growing. The gap between rich and poor is widening every day. This, of course, is why having a Prime Minister who's out of touch with the ordinary people has got us in the position we're in.
I give up. I was talking about Britain.
I'm describing Britain to you, young man.
I never knew there was like a similar thing going on when he mentioned this Scott problem. I'm guessing it's the old Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. But I guess this is looking at the parallels between Australia and Britain. Obviously, that is very accurately describing a lot of the issues we had preceding Brexit and on the way towards Brexit. But did you have exactly the same issues in Australia? Very clever comedy again, how they're making that comparison between the two countries and looking at all the similarities. But I never really knew too in depth of what was going on in Australia at the time. So tell me more about that. What was going on? Do all those problems also apply to Australia at that time? I think this is about 2016. How are things now? How is there any similarities between the UK and Australia with regards to political problems at the moment as well? Tell me about Scott Morrison as well. What do you think about him as a Prime Minister? What were his good points, bad points? I don't really know too much about that. I'll probably, after this video, go have a little look and learn about it. But great comedy again as well. Looking at Brexit, but also looking at issues in Australia as well. So tell me what you think about this one and recommend more from Clarke and Dawe. Thanks.